Ollie and Steven's 2013-14 NBA Preview Show. Number 25.
Hello and welcome back to Ollie and Steven's 2013-14 NBA Previews, the countdown from 30 through 1 of Steven Edwards' power rankings. He's allowed me to come along for the ride of these audio and video podcasts. We're at 25. It is those Milwaukee Bucks. Steven Edwards, they come in 25 on your power rankings.
Yeah, the Milwaukee Bucks have just ripped their team apart over the off-season, and this is not a good team at all, and they're going to have a lot of struggles in this Eastern Conference. I mean, we look at the Milwaukee Bucks. I mean, I always make this comment whenever the Bulls go to Milwaukee, that you always get more Bulls fans there than you do Bucks fans. It's not a well-supported franchise. It's quite sad in a way, because they have had playoff teams there in the past in my lifetime, but sadly not at the moment.
There's not really much to discuss about these Bucks, Steven Edwards. Let's move straight on to capturing the collective mindset of this fan base in one word. What word do you have for the Bucks?
Resigned.
I have depressed. They're in that stupid middle ground of not being good enough for the playoffs and not being in like the Wiggins stakes. So they must just be like, oh good God, will it ever end? One, it's me on a row of 10 empty seats. And two, I've got an awful franchise. Good luck this season, Milwaukee Bucks. Steve, let's just jump straight into what they did this last off-season. Made some interesting moves. They let go of Monte Ellis, Brandon Jennings, and JJ Redick, as well as Mike Dunleavy. They're four big losses.
Yeah, they are big losses. I mean, Chicago are very grateful to have Mike Dunleavy. I mean, the JJ Redick one was the interesting one, because they made the trade for him. And then Redick then left as a free agent. He just said he had just no interest in playing in Milwaukee whatsoever.
Don't blame him.
Obviously Brandon Knight's come over from the Detroit Pistons, and OJ Mayo, of course, has come over after taking that 1-year deal playing for the Mavericks. But they pretty much gutted their roster.
Now, what do you make of Jennings? I'm quite happy that they let the Jennings Ellis partnership go. I don't think it works that well. Every single one of them wants to handle the ball. They want an OJ Mayo. He wants to handle the ball. They all want to shoot lights out every night. It didn't work, so I quite like the fact they just said, let's cut ties with this thing right now. They didn't want to, match the offer sheet for Brandon Jennings from the Pistons. I sort of respect that. They didn't want to overpay him. They had their value. Pistons offered more than what they thought he was worth, and they just let him go.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a problem with letting Brandon Jennings go. I mean, I think Brandon Jennings is one of those guys that he's a little bit overrated as a point guard. There's a lot better point guards around in the league than him. So, I don't see the issue with him going. The problem I have with Jennings is the fact that if you think Jennings wasn't a point guard, you've now brought in a guy who's probably even less of a point guard than what Jennings is.
Yeah, I think the issue with Jennings for me is he's a splash player. He's the sort of guy who pops up on highlights because he makes some nice athletic plays and stuff. So this myth develops that he is a better player than in fact he is. I think the Bucks knew that and their front office knew that. I like them bringing in Larry Drew as their new coach coming over from Atlanta. That's a very smart, clever move. Pretty much the exact same sort of team he had in Atlanta, with a young group of prospects and some aging veterans as well. Pretty much that same sort of style, so I think he'll do some good stuff there. No,
I completely agree. He did a lot with very little for me when he was in Atlanta. They weren't really a playoff team in terms of the players they actually put out on the court. So I thought he did an excellent job. So if anyone can get the maximum out of these guys and try and get them to buy into what he's trying to do, then that's going to work out well. I mean, Gary Neal is quite a nice addition for them as well. I think he's going to give them some points coming off the bench.
Yeah, he shot lights out in the playoffs at times. I felt bad for Larry Drew. I thought he was slightly disrespected by Atlanta. Finished above 500 every season there. Yeah. We have to mention, before we move on, the 15th overall pick in this year's draft, and everyone bear with me and try and say this. I'm sure everyone's tried. The Greek lad, which is what I'm going to be referring to him as for the rest of the year. Yeah. Giannis at 10. Oh, let's go again. Giannis Antetokounmpo. That sound right? 21.
Well,
That sounds
I
like a
have
dodgy
no.
dish you get in a restaurant.
I have no idea, and the thing I'm looking forward to the most is how many different versions we're going to hear of this name from play-by-play guys.
I think it'll be like if anyone from British football remembers Stelios Giannakopoulos.
Well done, Mr. Connolly.
I used to go to some Bolton games. He became Stelios. He will definitely become. What's his first name again? He'll become Giannis. That'll become easier, or he'll become. And he'll just become Poe, is apparently the name he's been given by his teammates. He'll become Poe or Giannis. There's no way anyone's going to try and say, Ante Karabapo.
The only thing that could be a bit disappointing is the fact that this guy actually might spend some time in the D-League this year. So some announcers on local networks may have missed this. And this year, if anyone doesn't know this yet, but with League Pass, you can choose whether you want to watch the home or the road announcers. And I just beg of you that when this guy is playing, it's just listen to whenever he enters a game, listen to the other team's announcers and see how well they do at trying to practice. Because over the course of the season, you would expect the Bucks announcers not to get it wrong. But I guarantee you there will be some announced teams that are going to have a real struggle with this guy, isn't he?
Yeah, he's made some real nice plays in pre-season though. He looks like a physical specimen. I'm excited to watch him. He's the only reason I'd watch a Bucks game. If he's in the game for like 2 minutes, I may switch over. See, in the rotation, we basically discussed Ridnour or Brandon Knight there. That worries me. OJ Mayo, that worries me. Garon Butler, Ilyasova, and Larry Sanders. That's a nice 4-5 combination.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about Mayo there. I think Mayo really would be probably better suited to be the first guy off the bench. I'm not so sure I like the idea of starting OJ Mayo, but it's something they've been forced into doing, and so they're going to have to roll with it. So, yeah, I mean, it's not a great team. It really isn't. This is actually one of the last of teams that I wasn't looking forward to talking about.
Yeah, they're quite boring. Let's get to Jedi Ollie.
Jedi Ollie.
Okay, Jedi Ollie says, this team will be the least watched and least attended team in the entire league, including Charlotte, including the 76ers. There is no redeeming feature to this entire franchise right now.
No, there isn't. This team can't even attract its own fans. I've already mentioned that about the fact that when the Bulls go there, if a Bulls fan wants to go and watch a game and can't get to United Centre, they go to Milwaukee.
Ouch. Alright, straight in then to Stephen Edwards' 24-second prediction clock. Stephen Edwards, you know how this works? As soon as you speak, 24 seconds begins.
Right, Milwaukee Bucks 2013-2014. OJ Mayo will play so well just so he can get himself traded out of this situation. He doesn't want to be in Milwaukee. This is all about him trying to get another contract. Knight is not the solution at point guard. Let's make that clear. And this is not a playoff team this year, and they will benefit by tanking the season and trying to get another player in there.
They've got predictions. The Mayo trade I like. He's probably going to want to go. By the time it's the trade deadline, they'll probably try and bail on the season as best as possible. I think that's a nice move. Someone's going to try and come in for him.
Yeah, I think this is it for Mayo. I mean, I think he's gone and got a deal that he wants, but he doesn't want that deal in Milwaukee. So I think what I think he's going to try and do is play above that contract and then try and get himself a spot on a better scenario for him. And then hopefully he'll find himself in a scenario that will then lead to another good contract after that.
Okay, then let's go to Destination City, Steve.
Destination City.
Milwaukee block party, baby. I'm feeling this. This music, Stephen, you have to check this out because it's party anthems interspersed with Thomas More going, Destination City. That's my best Thomas More impression.
You've got a deep enough voice.
Destination City. This is the most blatant zero on the entire list.
It is. This is zero for me.
Same for me. That's it. That's about all for the 25th ranking of Ollie Steven's 2013-14 NBA previews. Please come back for 24, as bad as that one will be, as was this 25th one. We're getting close to the playoffs, Steven. Let's just move on from the Bucks.
Yeah, we'll say goodbye to Milwaukee. It was nice knowing you.
Thanks for downloading Ollie and Steven's 2013-14 NBA preview show. Please continue to check out the First Take UK podcast.